Welcome back to Nick Lenz, Comic Corner Classics as Known Classics. This is episode number 1223 and Doubleshot number 1117. I actually do have the two trades I got here, one from DC and one from Marvel. This one is this is a more Batman related trade. This is Robin Year 1, written by Chuck Dixon, artwork by Scott BT. Yes. Now here's the thing with this miniseries. Now, for a book called Year 1, it's really short. Only 4 issues. Now, you're probably thinking Year 1, that usually means 12 issues, not 4. Yeah, that's one thing I never really liked about the whole Year 1 aspect for certain titles. What's wrong with doing 12 issues? Why does it have to be like 4 or 6, or in the case of Batgirl Year 1, 9 issues? What's wrong with doing a full year? Yes, this is kind of a modern retelling of Dick Grayson's this first year as Robin, where he has encounters with the Mad Hatter, Two-Face, Mr. Freeze, though Mr. Freeze is wearing his old Silver Age costume he was Mr. Zero. And also Killer Moth isn't here as well. Now, he's only Robin just for the first couple issues, and he quits. He actually quits being Robin during this period of time. And I got handed to Chuck Dixon basically when he writes this, because if you read the original origin story for Dick Grayson back in the Comics 20, he becomes Robin really quickly, and he stays Robin. In this modern retelling, he actually briefly quit being Robin before we go back being Robin by the end of the miniseries. Yeah, thanks to prompting by, of course, Alfred. And of course, basically, Batman was a bit hesitant to take on a partner due to the dangers involved in the fact he didn't want people to go through the same thing he did, though Dick Grayson go through the same thing he did. Now, in case you're curious though, does Batman have Dick Grayson go undercover to take down casinos? Not really, no. It's basically Dick Grayson's during his first year as Robin, where he takes on Batman's rogues. Unlike in the current continuity, where the first villain he fought was Scarecrow, fun fact, that was the first villain Tim Drake fought. Who is by far the first villain he fights in this miniseries? Yeah, that's a really good question. What is the first villain he fights as Robin? And the answer is, if I can find the page here, it is the Mad Hatter. Yes, the Mad Hatter is the first villain he fights in this modern retelling. And despite the fact he does fight him first, but he does fight several villains, this is actually a really damn good miniseries. And basically, having Chuck Dixon write this is actually a really good idea. This is one of 2, let's just say, Year 1 type of story he did to Dick Grayson. The other, of course, being the critically acclaimed Year 1 story he did for Nightwing, which was really good, by the way. Yep. But this is just an overall really good miniseries. Let me show us off on the artwork in here. Here's from the first thing you open up. This is actually a really good artist. It's very similar to Scott Beatty's artwork. Is very similar to that of Tim Sale, though he's not like. Unlike one thing he differs from Tim Sale is that he actually has people with actual teeth, not basically big humongous teeth, and he doesn't have people rhyme. Yeah, but this book is good. Give this book roughly a 9.5 out of 10. Damn good book. And this is actually a deluxe edition of this book. Yeah, deluxe edition. Now, this miniseries originally came out in, I'm looking up here. This came out originally in 2000. Yeah, a 20-year-old miniseries. Yep, 20 years old. Alright, next up was a book that collects issues that came out not 20 years ago. Oh no. These issues came out 9 years ago. And yes, I was reading comics at this point. This is Avengers Volume 3. This collects issues of Avengers Volume 4, issues 18, 24, and 24.1. Written by Michael Bendis, artwork by Daniel Kuna. Yes, who was actually a really good artist, by the way. I've never met a person. Now, of the artists who work on here, I have met none of them. Now, basically, this is the aftermath storyline of Fear itself. And the Avengers land basically undergone some changes. For one thing, basically, prior to Fear itself, Spider-Man and Wolverine were actually on this roster. And then thanks to Fear itself, they quietly leave the team to focus on their time with New Avengers. So, to replace them, they bring in 2 new people. Now, one person that Captain America really wants to recruit is the Black Panther. As in the cover, he's there, but he's only here for 1 issue. Instead, he's like, I'm busy, but I know somebody who you can contact. Contact my smoking hot wife, Storm. Yeah, and by the way, when Luke Cage saw her, he couldn't say. I would be. It seems like the way that, well, he was staring at her. It was almost like any guy was there, like, damn, Storm is hot. And by the way, Storm's reaction is, my husband would do anything to keep me in New York, despite the fact at this point in time, the X-Men are based in San Francisco. Yes, in the Utopia and Nation X stuff. So basically, Storm is part of the Avengers for this one storyline because right after the storyline wraps up, guess what happens next? AVX. And at the very first issue in New Avengers, she quits. Yep, quits. After this one story arc. Now, who is the other person joining the team? Why, it's the Vision, who comes back at this point in time. Now, when he came back, this was the first time in almost 7 years that he came back. Not counting the one who appeared in Young Avengers. This is the original Vision. Yeah, Tony Stark rebuilt him. The 24.1 actually shows him, like stuff basically was mentioned in issue 19. Where basically he got him up to date, basically the stuff going on since his death. So basically he debriefed them on the events of House of M, Civil War 1, Secret Invasion, Siege, The Dark Reign. Pretty much everything that's happened, which, not a bad idea. Even Spider points out though, man, this guy was not this talkative. Also, I got pointed out in 24.1, he also got a chance to reconcile with She-Hulk. Yep, that was actually pretty good. I love the fact Bendis did it. Though, he did reunite with Scarlet Witch in the lead up to AVX, where he's like, doesn't want anything to do with her, basically tells her to leave. Because he doesn't care anymore. His wife was responsible for what happened in the events of AVX, Avengers Assemble. Yeah, despite the fact Bendis took a lot of flack for that. Now, David Finch himself basically mentioned in a live stream he had no problem working on this particular. He basically was a bit nervous due to the fact he wasn't all that familiar with the Avengers. He did the best he could with the book. But this basically also, when it comes to Avengers, that was all Bendis' idea. Now, what's the storyline for this? Apparently, Norman Osborn has broken out of jail. Yep, he had been in jail for over a year in comic form, though probably like a few months since Avengers Siege. So he breaks out, and what does he do? He reforms Hammer and the Dark Avengers. Yep, though here's the thing. If you're curious, like in the book, like you read this, like, okay, what the heck is Sakaar doing here, the son of the Hulk? Well, that's explained in the pages of New Avengers. Why the heck that the people who collect this didn't bother to mention in here? No idea. So pretty much the Avengers are basically sent to take down Hammer and hunt down Norman Osborn. By the way, Norman Osborn just walks out in public and says, hey, they basically launched a coup d'etat against me, removed me from power, and put me in prison without trial. Which, that part is true. Which comes back to the question, why hasn't Marvel Comics had a storyline in any comic book that had Norman Osborn on trial for his crimes? Come to think of it, that has never happened before. I'm like, this man has got a boatload of crimes. I mean, the man is known for he's killed 2 people. Yeah. He killed Gwen Stacy, which, by the way, he has never been tried for that death, and he also killed the son of Baron Wolfgang von Strucker, I think it's on Andreas von Strucker, the second swordsman, though he later came back. Though he can't try for his death, but he can try for the death for Gwen Stacy, but nope. Can't bother to do that for some reason. So, we have this really good story, like the whole hunting for basically bases of Hydra. Also, Bendis does kind of fix something that Hickman did, where they had Madame Hydra basically had this particular look for her. Let's see if I can find it here. Let's see. She had this look that Hickman did, and then Bendis was like, Yeah, I don't like that look. I'm gonna fix her to basically have a more proper look to her. Also, apparently, oh yeah, this is the look right here. Yeah, this octopus thing in her head. Yeah, that was something John Hickman did that to her just prior to this. And Bendis was like, nah, this is a stupid look for her. I'm gonna fix it having Osborn and the resources of Hammer fix that. Now, I don't think anybody basically bigly complained about it. I don't think any readers complained about this change. Probably because this change was kind of stupid. Though Hickman later left, he actually, I think this happened just after they wrapped up the Secret Warriors book, which I've read it. It's really good. I haven't finished it yet. I have the last trade on the way to my house right now. I purchased it. Now, at the end of the storyline, something really weird happens. So, Norman Osborn briefly becomes the super adaptoid. You're probably thinking, what the heck is a super adaptoid? Well, to point it plainly, he is Marvel Comics' take on Amazo the robot from DC. That's what the Super Adaptoid is. He's a robot who copies the abilities of the Avengers. One robot. Though he's not created by T.R. Morrow, he was created by the force of AIM to take on the Avengers. He popped up a few times. He's a creation of Roy Thomas, believe it or not. Yes, and Norman Osborn briefly becomes the Super Adaptoid for about 2 issues before he's taken down and falls in a coma. Though by the end of the year, he actually is out of the coma. Yeah, and by the way, this actually was the end of Norman Osborn's time outside the Spider-Man books. Yeah, because the thing was, Norman Osborn had been outside of the Spider-Man books at this point in time for 4 years. This is probably like Bendis is like one last hurrah with the character, because he wanted to basically, I think this is just my theory, I think because he knew he was going to be ending his run for Avengers, so he figured though, why not one last storyline featuring the Norman Osborn? But if you want the mirror storyline for this, of what goes on with Dark Avengers, you have to read New Avengers, which I'm going to get that really soon, which probably, that trade that collects that storyline, that's actually my last trade that actually has to review for New Avengers overall. This series, of course, for this run, I have one more trade left, and I'm done with Bendis' run for the main Avengers book. But this storyline overall was really good. Also, I love Storm's interaction with the Red Hulk. And she basically asked the obvious question, like, are you Bruce Banner? He's like, no. Are you Betty Ross? No. Does Captain America know your secret identity? And he says, yes. Now, he joined this team on the recommendation of the original Hulk, Bruce Banner. Yep, that's the reason why he's here. Though here's something quite strange, though. When this book ended, he went Thunderbolts. And then the Hulk got depowered. Now, this, of course, is really damn good. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, who's the guy in the suit? That is actually the Protector. Yeah, Bendis was the one who basically sort of developed this character. Now, he didn't create this character. No. Now, if you look at the characters in the cover, Stanley. Yeah, these characters here, all the men in this cover are in fact Stanley's creations. Though, these two and this one here are all co-created with Jack Kirby. Steve Ditko. Miss Marvel is a creation of Roy Thomas, so is the Adaptoid. Wolverine, the late Lee Wein, and I think it's David Cocker created him. Spider-Woman, not a creation of Stan Lee. I don't remember who created her. But the Protector, who created this guy? Grant Morrison. Yes. Does he do anything in the storyline? Not really, no. But this also kind of in the way is the last storyline for the main Avengers book that he's actually part of, because with the next crossover, he leaves the team because he decided with the Kree against the Avengers. All in all, this is a damn good book. Give this book roughly a 9.5 out of 10. Fun book. And also, I should also point out though, because of the destruction of Avengers Tower and events of Fear itself, if you're curious though, like, how was the tower destroyed? Well, the Thing, who was possessed by Hammer, threw the Red Hulk through the building, and then he dropped the building right on top of the Hulk, destroying the building. The building was gone for a year in comics. Well, in publication anyways. It was actually reopened in the first issue of Avengers Assemble, which Bendis wrote that. Yep. Which also brought about the return of the Guardians of the Galaxy, believe it or not. But as in the case of this storyline started something that everybody else in Marvel ignored. Spider-Woman and Hawkeye being a couple. Yep. For some reason, despite the fact Bendis started this, nobody wants to touch me with that. I don't know why. Also, you gotta love this tagline. Tony Stark's fortune is gone. Captain America's legion of question. Thor is dead and Norman Osborn's back. That's a good thing you could just for the storyline. Yeah, Thor is dead briefly. He's actually brought back in the pages of his own solo title. As in the case of Tony Stark's fortune, yeah, that kind of is true. His fortune is pretty much gone. Though thanks to Stark Reliant, his company he started in the pages of his own solo book, which, yeah. Now, in the case of the tower itself, that was rebuilt thanks to some government money. And the Avengers... Now, here's the thing about Avengers Tower. The Avengers Tower was the headquarters of the main Team Avengers, mainly from 2010 to 2015. And then it got sold to some alien. Because Tony Stark was going through some money loss, basically to avoid bankruptcy. He had the building. Now, it's only for this one storyline that the main Avengers team is back at the mansion. This is also, believe it or not, the first time the main team has been headquartered at the mansion since 2004. Yes, since 2004, because the new Avengers, the Luke Cage team, has been headquartered at this building since the previous year. They continue to be headquartered at the building until 2013, believe it or not. Yeah, Bendis itself, basically... Now, here's the interesting thing when it comes to the Avengers Tower. It's been headquartered to 3 Avengers teams. First, of course, and all of them basically were teams that Bendis himself created. First, it was the New Avengers team that first appeared in New Avengers #1, though the Tower itself first appeared in issue 3. And then it was headquartered, now, in the case of New Avengers, the Bendis version, they were headquartered at the building for 2 years. And then, for over a year, they were headquartered. The building basically was occupied by the Mighty Avengers team, the one led by Miss Marvel. And then, basically, the following year, they were taken over by, of all people, the Dark Avengers. And they held the tower up until the events of Siege in 2010. And then the main Avengers team took over in 2010, and they stayed there for 5 years before having to sell the building, moved to a warehouse for about a year, and moved to the Bax building briefly. Like, their time in the Bax building was so brief. They were headquartered out of that building for half a year at most before they lost it. Currently, the Avengers are headquartered out of the Avengers Mountain. Now, once I reviewed the final trade that collects this run, I have pretty much reviewed everything for the main Avengers book that's come out since 2010. Yet everything that's come out in the last 10 years, all done. Yep, all done for Avengers. Though I can't wait for anything further. I can't wait to read stuff further back than that. But in the case overall, this storyline, it's just really good. Very action paced. Love the search aspect of it. Basically, search down places of Hammer. Now, at the end of the storyline with no one else in a coma, like Hammer basically is near ruin. So, what the people who part basically the Hammer was also made of alliance with Hydra and the Hand. So what they did is that they basically took the resources and split it and basically rebuilt their own separate particular groups. The Gorgon took over the Hand, and Madame Hydra, aka Viper, took over Hydra. Also, she had this weird thing where she proclaimed she was in love with Captain America, even though that prior to this, she has never expressed any romantic interest in Captain America because he's dating Sharon Carter. Still is currently. Yep, but not much to say with 2 trades. They're both really good. Oh, and this book, 9.5 out of 10, just like the Robin Year 1. Okay, so that's a particular review. I have like 2 more books coming in soon. I'm probably gonna have one of them. I'm probably have one of the reviews soon. But in the case next video I'm gonna do, well, I don't have more videos to do today because I have nothing else to review. So expect some videos tomorrow because I just finished it today. I finished the 6th book for Aztec War, which means I can start watching season 2. You're probably thinking, why don't you start watching tonight? Well, if I do, it probably get I kind of wanted to go back to watching Doctor Who because I didn't get a chance to watch last night, but tonight I'll get a chance to watch it because tomorrow is my day off because of Thanksgiving. So I'll get a chance to watch it then. Yep. So, until I see you all tomorrow. Bye.